Chat, unfortunately, this is like the gift that keeps giving, but maybe not in the way that people would like. The Epstein Files, chat, it's not going anywhere. The questions are keep lingering, and people are trying to figure out what some of these things mean. Remember, it's 3 million files that were released. Okay? 3 million files were released about Jeffrey Epstein's behavior. Some people speculate a sex trafficking ring. Some people speculate it was a extortion ring. Regardless, what's seemingly obvious is that there was a lot of creepiness and nastiness happening. There were definitely grown men who were infatuated with younger women in very sexual vicinities, or just straight up having sex with kids. Very disturbing. Some of these people are very powerful. Some of these people have been linked to other things that we perceivably don't have problems with. But of course, when you find out the vice of some of these guys is that they love kids, it changes the argument. I remember talking about Jay-Z with his name being mentioned, and we've seen how hip-hop media treated that. They don't want to have conversations about it. And even some people came out to say, you know, it's irresponsible of the media to take his name being mentioned on a but a tip line for the FBI and use that as any substantial proof that Jay-Z could be doing anything wrong. Now, while I agree with that in principle, I also agree that we've called for the Epstein Files for years. It's disingenuous to call for it, hoping that you are going to see names of people who are culprits or friends with the culprits. And when you see the name you don't like, you're like, man, fuck this list. I think that's disingenuous. Overall, and I think people are still scouring these files. And one of the reasons also I think is interesting, and I use Jay-Z's name as he has mentioned, is because people are doing a lot of picking and choosing. Let me just give you broadly what the majority of the intellectual or the legal community is saying about these 3 million files. There's a lot of innuendo. There's a lot of speculations about people doing whatever. There's a lot of rumors, and there is a lot of allegations, but the majority, or not even the majority, almost everything is unsubstantiated. What does that mean? Meaning whether it was someone who called into a tip line and said that Jay-Z did X, Y, and Z, or whether it was supposedly a victim that got interviewed by the FBI, actually a field officer, none of it really is substantiated, which means there isn't proof that the things they're claiming any of these guys did really happened. It puts us in a pickle. Do we just say, well, since we can't prove it, these guys we just let off the hook? Because that's what they're saying with Jay, right? Well, you shouldn't talk about him because we can't prove that. Yeah, it's probably right. But there's a bunch of stuff said about whether it's like, you know, Trump, Elon, or, you know, there's other figures, Eminem, Pusha T. I'm only talking about people in our world for now. Can't prove most of the stuff about them either. Now, we could take the approach of where there's smoke, there's fire. And I've seen people take this approach, which means if your name is mentioned in there like once or twice or like 3 times or maybe 4, actually, let's just say under 10, like Jay-Z, who cares? If your name in there 1,000 times, your ass guilty. That's how some people are taking it. Which means if you're mentioned once, we could look the other way. If you're mentioned 1,000 times, nigga, you did some shit. It's up to you guys. Do you think that's the proper way to evaluate all this? I don't know. While scouring all these documents, we're still trying to figure it out. And by the way, for the people who think that I am hypocritical in how I look at this, or maybe I have an axe to grind versus one person or the other, I've held the same stance across the board. I don't care who it is. If your name is involved in this type of fuckery, you might be innocent. But maybe somebody should go over your homework. Maybe somebody should just look at you. figure out what you've been up to for the last 25, 30 years. I don't know. Perhaps you're clean as a whistle. Perhaps they were trying to throw you in their mess. But it would give everybody a little bit peace of mind that if your name was up in this shit, you could at least confidently say, and we could confidently say, well, they did a thorough investigation after the person was mentioned, and there's nothing to find. There's nothing to prosecute, and this person did nothing wrong. The idea of just blindly saying, nah, it's just racist to talk about this. No. Everybody. So what am I saying? From Trump to Elon to Jay-Z to Pusha T to Eminem, I don't care what your name is. If your ass is in this shit, if your name is mentioned, we should at least look over your homework just a little bit just to make sure you wasn't on some shit. I don't care if you're mentioned once, 50 times, 500, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000. I don't care unless you are God. You should be looked at. That's my personal opinion. I can't pick and choose. But we do live in a pick and choose time, y'all. We live in a pick and choose time. There's been a lot of frustrated people. There are people saying, yo, what the fuck, man? How the hell we want to see the Epstein Files? And we can't find anything. And when I mean anything, there's a lot of salacious stuff. But something that we could nail these people and put them in jail. Because the idea behind the Epstein Files was that there was a list of people who were interested in fucking kids, and Jeffrey Epstein and his madame, Ghislaine Maxwell, was serving them up. And maybe other people who was just trying to go there to take advantage of whatever the offerings were on the island, and we wanted to know who the creeps were. That was the whole point of this all. So we get 3 million files. Apparently there's 3 more million, which we're going to get to eventually when they come out, hopefully. Well, supposedly they got to, because there's a law, there's a Epstein Transparency Act passed. But the 3 million files that we get, we're like, so you're telling me you dropped 3 million files? And we get rumors, we get tips, we get interviews, we get all these things, pictures, videos, interviews. But we don't have anything that y'all could put somebody in jail for? That's a little odd. Well, people have been scouring. And supposedly in all these documents, the current understanding is that there's 6 people that supposedly, out of everybody mentioned, former presidents, former district attorneys, attorney generals, congressmen, sheiks, whatever you call them, prime ministers, kings, well, not kings, but like princes, everybody. There's 6, the magic number 6. And we ain't talking about, that they're saying, and I got to quote them, are likely implicated in the 3 million files. What does that mean? Likely implicated means they're likely implicated in some type of conspiracy to sex traffic. What does that mean? They could possibly be charged, because Ghislaine Maxwell is charged. She's in jail. Jeffrey Epstein got charged. He killed himself. They're saying there's 6 more people that could be. Here was the problem, and here's the kicker. When the list first came out, the 6 people, their name was redacted. We can't find out who they are. Who the hell is the 6 people? So wait, you tell me all the other bullshit. And this is the problem with the list. The public wanted the list so bad that the government, they picked and chose a bit. They said, here's half of it. But they gave us so much information and so much salacious shit that for us to parse through 3 million documents, or 3 million pages, whatever it is, you're going to get drowned in the bullshit. You'll never see some shit. It's the needle in the haystack approach. We give you so much shit, you'll be exhausted by you find the little thing that may be important. But people have scoured. They're using AI. They're doing this. Everybody, they have teams that's going through this. And they got to this thing where the Department of Justice actually admitted there's 6 people that could be likely charged in a conspiracy. Okay. We're getting somewhere now. About motherfucking time. Except the 6 people in the list, their names are redacted. What the fuck? They gave us everything but the 6 niggas we need to know. They gave us everything. Everything. Except the 6 motherfuckers we want to know about. The 6 redacted. Now, this has been a subject of heavy litigation. You know, everybody's saying, yo, what's going on? This is a time and an opportunity for, you know, people in politics to really make their name be known, but not only make their name be known, you know, do something what the people have always demanded. Like the people, like one of the promises in getting Trump in was like thinking Trump was going to deliver. Then Trump gets in. Apparently he hits his, you know, his attorney general like, yo, hey, we good? They told him, we don't know if you good, gang. They said, fuck them files. You know what I mean? So whoever gives us the files, politically, we fuck with. Congress pressed to say, hey, listen, we need to figure out some of the redactions. They then make some more amends to say, hey, listen, the fully unredacted names of certain documents will be available, but you got to go to the Department of Justice building. You got to go up in there. Can't bring your phone. And you could go read it. You could just actually see it without the redactions. Okay. All right. It's getting a little spooky. I don't know what's going on. It's getting a little spooky here. Anyway, long story short, short story longer. Someone in Congress just snitches. They just spill the beans. This guy named is Connor. He reads the names of the 6 people that supposedly were redacted. And he did this on the, I did this in Congress, I believe, and I'll just put the video up here.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein Files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public?
Okay. You hear him. Here's the names. Now, it's still clear that there's names and people being protected. It's starting to feel like maybe the reason why most of the rich and powerful who were listed in the Epstein Files, they're not panicking is because who cares if Bill Gates caught some gonorrhea from cheating on his wife? Like, everybody cheat on their wife. What the fuck? That's the big thing? What the hell? That's what we waited for? Is that what we waited for? No. So it looks like they kind of threw out some other shit. They're like, nah, all right, y'all want some spicy shit? All right, here's the tea. And it's like some fake shit or it's like some bullshit. Who cares if he's cheating? Who cares if he caught STD? The real shit, they're like, make sure that don't come out. So we get the name of 6 people, and apparently we're going to be careful here, okay? These are the names that, according to the Department of Justice, they said that, you know, without explanation of why they redacted their names, they said these guys would be likely co-conspirators and could possibly have been in whatever ring of sex trafficking, which means they probably could have been charged. Okay? One of these documents is this. So while investigating Jeffrey Epstein, and they tied his death investigation to his investigation to sex trafficking, they mention these people who, right here it says co-conspirator. Apparently this is Les Wexner. We're gonna, is this Les? No, actually not. We don't know yet. Everything says you/Elias, my bad. So these are people they feel could have been co-conspirators. Leslie Gruff, I don't know who that is. Ghislaine Maxwell, clearly she got arrested. But they redact everybody else. Jean-Luc Brunel. Interesting. Oh, here we go. Leslie Wexner. Okay? And they have a former girlfriend in here. All type of stuff. Okay? There's email correspondence. And I'm going to go over quickly. Okay? So this is where Jeffrey had messaged to someone. And people were saying, who is this to? Jeffrey says, where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video. This person responded, I'm in China. I'll be in the U.S. by the second week of May. If we're looking for the perverts, the creeps, the killers, the sacrificers, the ritualistic, Illuminati, evil motherfuckers, we want to know who sent this email. Who are you saying this to that you love the torture video? Apparently, that email was sent to Bin Saluyem. I'm going to get to all these guys in order of who the fuck they were. Okay. All right. Wow. It's kind of damning. And there's another list. Even though it's unclear if all these people are co-conspirators, but it's been unclassified now, except two. Who are these people? We don't know. Jeffrey's on the list. I believe Ghislaine's on the list, but who the hell are these? I think all of them should be thoroughly investigated. What the hell is going on? Okay. Now, let me quickly go over these people, okay? The people in question, okay, that are the six. Give me a second. Yeah. These are the six people who are supposedly likely, I don't want to say candidates, but could have been involved. We're going to be factually correct. Could have been involved. So one of them, and this is going to let us know about his circle. So the guy who we sent the email to saying, I love the torture video, his name is Sultan Ahmed. This guy. Okay? He's emailing with Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein tells him, I like the torture video. We don't know what that means. He's now 71. He's over there in Dubai. And if you look at him, or even, let's make this a little bit, more succinct. Let's look at his net worth. He's a CEO of DP World, which reported at $18 billion in 2023. He's one of those billionaire niggas from Dubai. Interesting. Billionaire from Dubai. Okay. The next one is Leslie Wexner. Now, if you guys don't know who this guy is, this guy he's a former CEO of Victoria's Secrets and Bath and Body Works, I believe. And he was the co-founder of Bath and Body Works, I believe, as well. He was also on the board for Abercrombie and Fitch. And this guy here, he is forever tied to the Epstein story. I'll tell you why. You see them pictured right there together? He is known as the financier of Jeffrey Epstein, and one of the reasons he amassed a wealth that, according to by the time he died, was $600 million. Keep in mind, this guy was no scholar, no tax expert. He was no legal advisor. He was no business manager, but everyone trusted him and his mind most people kind of think it was one of those like, yo, I provide you with some shit and you just pay me just to pay me. And we're going to call it, I'm consulting. But this guy paid him supposedly like over $200 million. Now, he's tried to wipe his hands clean. And you got to imagine if he was a CEO of Bath and Body Works or Victoria's Secret, those companies' hands are stained with the blood or stained with whatever you want to say of child molestation. We got to be honest. You financed the guy who did all that. Without him, he doesn't have an island. Without him, he doesn't get to move around and have the resources that he does. Okay? Ironically, he ends up owning or running Victoria's Secret and Bath and Body Works, companies meant for women and women who are trying to get intimate or scantily clad, right? Okay. His excuse is that, yeah, I used to use him for some, advice, financial, whatever. But as soon as I heard he was fucking kids, I stopped talking to him. That's his story. His story says that. Yeah, I stopped fucking with him. You believe that? Yeah, I stopped fucking with him. You believe that one? Okay. It's a classic technique. Your mans get caught up. Y'all used to be at brunches together, hugging each other, calling each other brothers. As soon as he get caught up, that was an associate. I don't really know that nigga like that. Fuck that. I don't know that nigga like that. Hell out of here. I don't know that nigga like that. Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen that before? Okay. But that's Les Wexner. When you think about him, he's the money, or he's responsible for a lot of the wealth of Jeffrey Epstein. Some of these other names, not that familiar with, but we could Google it. There's another guy. His name is Salvatore Nuara. Anybody ever watch American Gangster? Now, Salvatore Nuara is this guy. He was a detective in the NYPD. He's now in his 70s. And apparently he was mentioned a lot of times in the address book of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I'm not sure if that means he was down with the get down like Epstein, but there's an allusion to perhaps as a officer of the law and a detective, maybe look the other way. You know how they used to catch Frank Lucas? Yo, just give me 50 grand and take them bricks uptown, nigga. Come on. You know what type of time it is. So there's thoughts that might have been going on. He definitely had the money to pay. But also, supposedly, this guy, he was investigated himself. He was investigated in connection to an illegal escort service. Ain't that a bitch? A cop who's a detective who should be trying to bust people like Jeffrey Epstein later gets investigated saying that he's trafficking his own bitches. Pretty much. An illegal escort service, you trafficking your own bitches. So maybe he used to be like, all right, when you come to town, remember, we don't want you to get caught. Just hit me. I'm the cop. I'll bring the host to you. Straight up. Crooked cops in New York go hand in hand like chopped cheese. Let's go. There's a couple more names. Some of these things I don't know. I'm just Googling them. This guy, Zurab. Let me see if I can find another picture of him. Zurab. I can't find a good picture of him. That's not him. Where is this guy? Yeah, this nigga's low profile. I can't find a picture of him. Anyway, it's Zurab Mikhail Lizda. I don't know how to say his name. They say he's a Georgian individual. People know very little about him. The only way he keeps coming up is that he's on most of Jeffrey Epstein's list as a contact, except it looks like they weren't doing no business together. That's kind of odd. The guy, he's in the oil and gas sector. It's not like Jeffrey Epstein was into oil and gas. But this one motherfucker right here is in the contact books. And the NYPD knew they were associated, but they can't tell why. They believe his actions helped, facilitated, and also encouraged Jeffrey Epstein trafficking. Allegedly. We got two more. This guy, Leonid. See, some of these guys are not really public facing. Yeah, I can't find pictures of these guys no more. They're saying he's an obscure figure. It's not that guy right there pictured. Say he's an obscure figure with virtually no verifiable public background or professional available. And he's listed many times as being connected to Jeffrey Epstein, but we can't tell why. So these last two, we can't get a picture of them, and we don't know what the fuck they were doing with them. It just looked fishy, and they looked like they was around some creep shit. Which, by the way, now I'm starting to think, I'm like, well, how could y'all possibly prosecute them if y'all don't know nothing about them? But maybe, or, the DOJ actually said that they could have been co-conspirators, so they must know more shit. Then the last one, his name is Nicola Caputo. Now, this is a Italian politician, okay, born in Teverla in the province of Caserta, okay. Apparently, he was a member of the European Parliament from 2014 to 2019 for the Democratic Party, and he held senior roles in the Campania Regional Administration. It's still vague what his thing with Epstein is. So in February this, and by the way, they've all denied it. They've all said, yo, we barely know this nigga. Yo, that was a work associate. That ain't my mans. That was a work associate. That was not my mans. Weren't you at the brunches? Nah. Well, I was. That was work. So he's denied it. Even Lex Wexner has denied it. And he gave him all that money. Okay. All right. So we're making some progress. I think everybody should be investigated that's related to this Epstein list. But if we need a place to start, I think you start with the short list of 6 and then you expand. I think if your name is in it, I don't care what you did. If you were the gardener, you used to just bring the drugs. I don't care what you did. You were just the do boy, the store runner. I don't care what you did. You should be investigated. So from Jay-Z to Pusha T to Donald Trump, Elon, everybody should get their homework reviewed. This is my thought. Anyway, there's some more interesting things in this files. I'm not sure if you guys, I don't know if sometimes I'm talking about the list, I'm looking in the chat. I can't tell if y'all about to pull a Charlemagne on me. Love you, Charlemagne, but you know what that was. Like, hey, don't talk about my guy. No. Because it's very cool to talk about the list until we got to talk about somebody that you like on the list. You get what I'm saying? It's really cool. Like, we could talk about a list all day as long as we talk about Trump. Like, no, we ain't talking about Trump. We about to talk about this. Man, fuck this list, man. Y'all down to talk about the list? Or y'all down to talk about the list? I just need to know. If y'all are saying, okay, enough is enough, let's get out of here, let me know. There's a lot of things we could talk about with the list. If y'all want to protect your favorite, and I'm going to go down a rabbit hole that you might not like, just say, Ak, move on. We're done with this. It's over. Just let me know. Now, let me ask y'all a question, chat. What do you think if, because since everyone's picking and choosing, if someone was on this list that seemingly, there was, since we got to weigh evidence now, it looked like they might have been down with the get down. Now that it's abundantly clear and it's open, the files are there. Do you look at the motherfuckers who are either defending them or still in business with them as weird? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah? Okay. I got to ask these questions before I go down the rabbit hole. Because when I go down the rabbit hole, you know what happens? I arrive at places that you don't like. I'll take another shot and let's see what comes up. I'm just trying to make sure y'all good with it. Okay. So, let's go. I'll see how much y'all really believe in this list. So, it is coming to light, and today's a very big day. Actually, the last couple of days has been pretty interesting because there's a lot of fallout from this list, right? Again, I've told y'all, supposedly it's only these 6 people that there's some real connection there that could lead to possible prosecution. But if you were all up in the emails, all up in the pictures, all up in the videos, you get name dropped mad times, you're probably on some bullshit too, right? I think everybody's agreeing with that. Well, you're going to realize why this Epstein Files shit, people just wanted to throw it away. People are now starting to realize that there was some bullshit afloat and you remember, this is all really powerful business people. That's really, Pusha T is the lowest peon. No disrespect to you, Pusha. You should take this as a favor. That's really listening to this. It's all the top dogs. But I want to show you this. Actually, could I find give me 1 second. I gotta find this. Because I know some of y'all are saying, but what does this got to do with the music industry? A lot. Let's get to it. So, if you guys don't know, there's 3 popular, actually more than 3. There's 3 popular, I'm correcting myself over and over. There's a bunch of popular agencies that book for all of our favorite rappers and singers, okay? We have UTA, we have CAA, we have WME, and we have this very popular company called Wasserman, okay? I'm not just pulling this out my ass. There's actual things happening today. So Casey Wasserman, the current chairman and the founder of Wasserman, which is a really a booking agency, he's the current chairman of the 2028 Olympics organization committees, has some interesting emails with Ghislaine Maxwell, and it appeared in the Epstein file, right? So this is the guy who founded Wasserman, which is this popular booking agent that books a lot of y'all favorite rappers, and we're going to get to who they do book for. We'll get to it, though. So let's go to the emails. So this is Casey Wasserman and Ghislaine Maxwell, and I'll spare you like trying to figure this out. It looks like he was fucking Ghislaine. So Ghislaine must have been giving up some pussy on the side or something. But this is what he says to her. You'll be able to tell about it, the context of the message. Where are you? I miss you. Why are you telling another man wife you miss him? I'll be in New York City for 4 days starting on April 22. Can we book that massage now? Okay. Another message. This is from, it looks like it's from Ghislaine to Casey Wasserman. Hey, will you be in New York City? Oh, no, well, okay. No, G-Max is Ghislaine. So she's emailing this Casey nigga. All that rubbing, are you sure you could take it? The thought, frankly, is leaving me a little breathless. There are a few spots that apparently drive a man wild. I suppose I could practice them on you, and you could let me know if they work. Or not. Just for the record, the cigar concept currently has pride of place in my bedroom. Just in case you're curious, I'm now in Brazil. Have you been there? That was Ghislaine Maxwell to Casey Wasserman. Casey says, never. Take me. Will you be in New York City when I'm there? Okay. Another email. Ghislaine says, what about Max? Also from Ghislaine says, Max will be relieved. Steven Shapiro just called. Available. Do you have a view? Do I need to know? LA, Malibu. Steven told me the weather, blah, blah. Like, what foggy enough so you could float naked down the beach? So this is from Ghislaine Maxwell to Casey. What foggy enough so you could float naked down the beach that no one can see you unless they're close up? So they're trying to plan some freaky shit, right? All right, cool. No. This is from Casey. Sorry. This is from Casey. Sorry. So Casey's saying to, Ghislaine, what foggy enough that And this was from Ghislaine. Ghislaine says Max will be relieved. Steven Shapiro just called and is going to find out what's available to rent from 3 different areas along the beach. I said I could look at all 3, make a decision. Do you have a view? I don't know anything about Malibu or LA for that matter. Anyway, regardless of that, Steven told me the weather is normally lousy. James, is that right? What does lousy mean? Is it hazy? Please explain to the foreigner. So they're kind of like playing this tryst or whatever. I don't know. Maybe she was giving a pussy behind the dude's back. It's another thing. So find a house for 2 weeks. Okay, this is another thing. All right. I called this. Can you bring anything from London? I know you probably don't have the same Kit Kat cheddar cheese. Whatever. Okay. Now, let me tell you what is the fallout of this. So this is the founder of Wasserman Music. And what's happening is that the artists that are signed or getting booked from Wasserman Music, they're now starting to leave. They're like, we do not want to be, we could get booked by anybody. These are not small artists. We could get booked by anybody. We don't want a booking agent that basically is a fucking creep, right? And they're going off the association to Ghislaine Maxwell and the proximity to Jeffrey Epstein. We do not want this motherfucker to be booking our shows. So the dominoes have fell. Today, an artist named Chappelle Rowan or Chapel Rowan, I think I'm saying it right. She's announced she's leaving Wasserman, the talent agency led by Casey Wasserman, after the emails with Ghislaine Maxwell were unsealed. She actually put out a message and she says, as of today, I'm no longer represented by Wasserman, the talent agency led by Casey Wasserman. I hold my team to the highest standards and morals and have a duty to protect them as well. No artist, agent, or employee should ever be expected to defend or overlook the actions that conflict so deeply with our own moral values. Morals, okay. I have deep respect and appreciation for the agents and staff who work tirelessly for their artists, and I refuse to passively stand by. Artists deserve representation that aligns with their values, and supports their safety and dignity. This decision reflects my belief that meaningful change in our industry requires accountability and leadership that earns trust. Interesting. So, going down the rabbit hole, you know where I'm going, right? Chapel Rowan said, peace out. Kendrick, it is your turn. Kendrick is represented by Wasserman's hip-hop agent, Brent Smith. Drake left this agent a couple months ago, and now he solely represents Kendrick Lamar. The news came out a few months before the Epstein list came out that Drake dropped the booking agent and severed ties with Wasserman Music and Brent Smith, who's the agent over there, because, we could all imagine you don't want to have the same booking agent as your op. The booking agent works at Wasserman, who didn't sever their ties with Brent Smith and also Wasserman, is Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick's been a person of notable high morals. Chappell Rowan already dipped. And I think he's up next. So out of, again, we could only go by his own words and what he stood for in the past. I'm hearing Kendrick Lamar, after making the biggest song of his career about pedophiles, would no way, shape, or form be having his tour. And yes, the GNX tour was booked by this guy. Again, it's not Brent Smith. Brent Smith is not the bad guy, but he works for Wasserman. So the nigga who's on the Epstein list is the company that booked Kendrick's tour. I don't think Kendrick aligns with those values. I think. Or he could have been just performing it. Maybe he just hated Drake. So now, this is a shit show behind the scenes, y'all. A shit show. You go to Wasserman, and if you click on their site, it's all over the place. Look, Casey Wasserman exits Telemundo. Everyone, he is ostracized. People are looking at him like, this is the fucking creep on the Epstein list. And Kendrick is up there. Now, I know what's going on in this industry more than you can think. People are poaching artists. Everybody's, it's World War X. Everybody's about to leave who has morals. To the point, they've even removed. They used to have a list of artists, but because every other talent agency is poaching their artists, they've even removed the artists that they have from their website because they don't want people to go try to get their artists because artists are leaving. Wasserman artist list. Let's look at their list. Oh, look, see? Music artist roster. They have removed it now. You know why? Niggas, this is war. Everybody's trying to get their goddamn. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is speakers. These are speakers. Where's music? Okay, these are keynote speakers. They left their keynote speakers. The keynote speakers are going to dip too. Artists join Chappell Rowan in exiting Wasserman. Let's see who left. By the way, Kendrick, you one of the biggest Mr. Morale guys. You should have been first out the door. My brother. You can't get them tours booked by the certified PDFs, allegedly. Let's see. The fallout, several music artists has cut ties with the agency Wasserman after files show that their CEO corresponded with Epstein co-conspirator and whatever. Bethany Consentino published a letter. She's out. Chappell Rowan. She's out. Is this what they said? Okay, let me see. Casey Wasserman said in a statement. Oh, let me read this statement. Love this. Okay, I'll just read it. I deeply regret my correspondence with Ghislaine Maxwell, which took place over 2 decades ago, long before horrific crimes came to light. Okay. He said, adding that it's well documented I went on a humanitarian trip as part of a delegation of the Clinton Foundation. Snitching, just throwing other niggas' names in there. On the Epstein plane. Snitching. I like that. Sometimes you just got to throw some names in there. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Clinton was there. What y'all mad at me for? Y'all said fuck me for? Clinton was there. I'm terribly sorry for having any association with either of them. Okay. It said the Wasserman Agency represents hundreds of clients across sports and music. An artist roster list has been removed. But an archive page shows all of these people. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is archive. I don't know when this is archived from. Okay. Let's keep it going. Apparently Ice Spice is over there too. Ice! Man, there's a lot of motherfuckers over there. Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. K. Trinata, Kalani. Yo, Kalani, you stop fucking with Tory because you heard what he did. What you finna do here? So all y'all woke motherfuckers, I want to see y'all niggas' names on this. Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick. Kung Fu. You can't be getting your tours booked by the certified Kid Cudi. Is Kid Cudi woke? All right. Kodak not gonna give a fuck. I ain't gonna lie to you. Kodak can't give a fuck. Imagine you telling Yak like, yo, Yak, you know who's booking your tours? Nigga, eat a dick. I'm just here for the money. Fuck you niggas. Like, you know Kodak don't care. You know what Kodak gonna say? Nigga, I took $1 million from a snitch, man. Like, you think I'm good, nigga. Fuck what y'all niggas got going on, man. I don't give a fuck about that. Yo, you know Kodak do not give a fuck. But Kendrick gotta care. Kendrick, we need to hear your voice now. Last Super Bowl, you gave a PSA about PDFs. You have a song, Keep the Family Away. Well, Kendrick, your tour might be getting booked by someone who has associations to the PDFs, and you have kids coming to your tour. Chapel Rowan already dipped. There's a few artists dipping. Actually, I hear there's a mass exodus. I ain't gonna lie. Even the agents are dipping. When are you leaving, Kendrick? When are you leaving? This is the moment for us to see if Kendrick was full of shit this whole time. He never gave a fuck about that type of shit. This might be his Cameron moment. What happened if they got a serial killer living next door to you? I'll probably just move. He ain't got nothing to do with me. You feel what I'm saying? He might look at it and be like, so what? Them niggas, I don't got no beef with them. I had a beef with Drake. Drake the only PDF, allegedly. He ain't like. It's like that moment. Yo, this is the first rat we jacking. This is the first. Y'all don't jack rats, but this is the first rat we jacking. Anyway, we'll see what Kung Fu Kenny does. But Wasserman is in shambles. The agent community don't know what to do. I think Travis Scott has somebody on here do their international booking. Let's see, Travis, you on here, brother? Travis might be too hot to even understand what the fuck going on, huh? But his ass should be on there too. Where's T? Let's get out of T. We're gonna see Travis Scott. Travis. Yup. Travis, you too, buddy. You too. I'm not really trying to put every artist on the spot here, chat. But there are certain artists that propagate this woke ideology and mentality, and they live on it. And they act moralistically as they're above everyone else. And oftentimes we get too many examples that they're fucking hypocrites themselves, right? Like, you know, Kendrick hates abusers and hates PDFs, so to speak. But then there's sexual assault allegations against TDE. Civil, but still. He's mum on that. You hate certified PDFs. You hate this. This person has a weird case. Well, the nigga who booked all your tours is friends with the PDFs. What's up? We'll see. Kung Fu Kenny. I hope that Chapel Rowan doesn't have more integrity and more moralistic value of stepping away from people associated with PDFs than you do, because that was your wheelhouse.